Let's go. So, hey everyone, this is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor over at Sampson Properties, bringing you another edition of the Learning Trails. And I am very excited about the fact that Sampson, to my knowledge, is the only brokerage that has taken all of this massive learning library and have put it into a methodical order of what comes next, what comes next, what comes next, what comes next, in case you fell asleep, what comes next. And the reason for that is, been training forever in a lifetime. And it is frustrating for me to see an agent come in or to have been with another, I'm going to say organization, and they boasted about all their training, but then it was, oh, we got to run to this one, and then you got to run to this one, and then you got to run to this one, then you got to run to this one. And nobody knew how this piece and this piece connected. And so you've heard me say this a million times over. For those that are new, let me just say welcome. It's all about putting it together in order, because that's how our brains work, having it methodical, having it mapped out, planned out, and strategically planned out, and knowing how to put the pieces of this puzzle of your real estate business together. So if you think about the real estate business, think about it as a huge puzzle. You've got 500 to 1,000 pieces in your puzzle. And as we open in JumpStart Session 1, and I kind of lay this out, is you've got the puzzle and you dump the box out. You've got all these pieces. All of those pieces represent a training class, a training component, a technique, a do and don't, everything from your contracts, disclosures, transactional. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. So often you're feeling like you're drinking out of this fire hose that just has been opened full blast and is beaten at you. I got tired of seeing good people come in the front door and out the back because they never knew how to put it together in order. And our brains are looking for some sort of order, calm, and feel like you're accomplishing and moving forward. So does that make sense, everyone? Give me a thumbs up if that does. Okay. All right. So I'm excited to announce that it's not completed yet, but it's in motion behind the scenes. Cardinal Nest, as you know, has just had a little bitty mini makeover. Okay. They have added under the education tab that's on the right, the left side of the screen when you open up Cardinal Nest. There's all the tabs down there. There's one that says education. They have added a page or a tab on there just for me. So we are working behind the scenes right now. I sent over a dummy platform for them to attach to make sure that in that attachment, the links will work the way I want it to. And once we confirm that it does, then I will be taking and filling in the rest of the roster, if you will, with not only the handouts, but the link for the video. And they are being put in order. So a brand new person coming in, all I've got to do is help direct them there. There'll be the introduction, which gives a little background of how and why JumpStart and the Learning Trails was created, so they understand. And then it takes them right into JumpStart 1, which is all about, it's 28 foundational pieces of your real estate business that you absolutely have to have in place. Session 2 takes you into another 20 foundational pieces. And again, I don't care if you're a brand new agent, if you're a seasoned agent, but new to Sampson. Donnie has said multiple times, if he could make JumpStart mandatory, He would. He would absolutely make it mandatory for any agent coming into Samson. And I thought, wow. So I know we're going in the right direction on this. I'm seeing more and more agents that are committed to following the learning trail track and are going through things methodically. And the comments that I'm getting back are, I got to tell you, stop me in my tracks and melt my heart to hear what agents are saying. It is truly a blessing that Samson and Cardinal support me and allow me to bring, I'm going to say, the wisdom of the ages to the table for you agents. You know, I know this is not ladylike. I know this is not professional, but I've often said it before because y'all gave me permission to hear my heart, forgive my mouth. We are going to cut the crap and get to the bottom line. I am going to tell you and share with you 20 plus years of sales and marketing before I came into real estate 20 years ago, and probably $30,000 worth of education. I'm handing everything over to you on a silver platter, but it needs to be put together methodically in order. So there you go. So 1 and 2, again, is laying the foundation down. Now we can start building. JumpStart Session 3, which we're going to talk about today, the benefits and the value of JumpStart Session 3 is about your database. Gang, okay, I'm just going to drop the bomb on this one. Do you realize that an agent typically leaves, I'm going to be a little gentle on this, $30,000 to $80,000 a year they let fall through the cracks because they have not taken the time to master the database. If you need to puke, you may puke. That's a lot of money. I don't know about you, but you know, an extra $30,000, $50,000, $80,000, not a bad way to go. But I'm always amazed at agents. They're always looking for the next transaction, the next transaction, the next transaction. Gang, this is a people business. This is people, eyeball to eyeball, face to face. If they know you and they trust you, which you've established over time, when that magical day comes that their home no longer meets their needs, they think of you and they know who to turn to. So your database, if I could get on my knees and beg and then still get up ladylike, I would do it. Your database is literally the gold mine. So the analogy that I'm going to share with you as well on the hidden gems of your database is it's either a slot machine or a vending machine. The slot machine, you put money into it, that's your marketing dollar. And you go, please, please, let me get a buyer. Let me get a buyer. Oh, no, no, no. Let me put some more money in. Let me get a seller. Let me get a seller. That's the slot machine. And that's how I'm going to say probably 90% of agents think about and work their database. Or you can work it like a vending machine. You have it organized, strategized. I'm going to give you it all. You have taken the time to flag them and tag them. You now know exactly who your A's are, your B's are, your C's, your D's. You've got your transaction partners, your service providers all in there, and your other agents. But so when you go to market, and let's say you're looking at your database, vending machine, okay, you can see what's in there. A1, you're going to get Reese's peanut butter cups. A1 is also, let's say, in your real estate vending machine is sellers. So you put your marketing money in very carefully because you've listened to me to your ad nauseum. You hit A1 and poof, down will fall the options or the selection or your Reese's peanut butter cups of sellers. If you are wanting to work with first-time home buyers, let's say that's B2. in your vending machine. Your database, you've got them flagged and marked. So you go, okay, I want to start working with some first-time home buyers because I want to do my home buyer seminar. I want to do, get them into a condo to start because I know 3 years later, I'm still going to want business and they're going to have outgrown that condo. So let's do that. So you put your marketing money in, hit B2, and you know exactly what you're going to get. It's going to drop you down all of your renters that may be ready to buy now. That is the difference between the, oh, lucky seven, let's hope something pops up, versus the vending machine that you have them all organized and tagged, and you can leverage your marketing dollar to get exactly what you're looking for to drop out of that machine. Okay. Hopefully that creates a visual for you. And if you ever go to Vegas, you're going to be thinking of me going slot machine, vending machine, slot machine, vending machine. There you go. All right. I hope my words haunt you at times. All right. So let's take and talk a little bit more about your database. I'm going to, again, encourage you to go in and listen to JumpStart Session 3 in its entirety. I'm giving you the overview of it. Remember that every training session that is done has a handout to go with it. So the handout will either appear when you go into Samson University, the video will come, when you select your video, it'll come up. Underneath it, there's a box, and that's where the handouts should be. I occasionally go in and do an audit, if you will, of making sure that it's in there, that those current ones are in there. But I also have JumpStart, especially for 2025, on my website, the handout. Okay, the video is in Samson University. If by chance you go to YouTube to just search it or search my stuff, the handouts will not be there. Yes, you can get a lot of my stuff on through YouTube, but the handouts will not be there. You absolutely need the handout to go with it. Why? Because I understand that there are 4 personality styles and 3 learning styles. When you go through and learn about the buyer and seller consultations, I address that a little bit for you. But I understand that when I've got a vast audience of agents, you're either a D, I, S, C, a combination of, but I don't know which one's higher, which one's lower. And when it comes to the learning style, you're either auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. Or, truth be told, we're a mix of all of the above. If you're reviewing information and just, you may be able to just listen to it at times, most of us are a combination of visual, you need to see it, auditory, you need to hear it, because our brains are going to bounce off somewhere else, and we're kinesthetic, we need our hands on it. That, my friends, is why as much as possible is recorded, is available for replay 24/7, because occasionally I do sleep. You've got a handout available to you. So regardless of whether you're, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and again, we're all of the above. We got you. All right. Everybody good? All right. Let's jump in to what are the categories that need to fall within your database. But before we do that, let me pause for a second there and set a little bit of a stage. If you are just starting and building out your database, you think about who you know. Now, I do not want you to prejudge them. Oh, well, they have their dream house. They're never going to sell that. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. There are a handful of things that happen in a person's life that will change the need for where they live in a heartbeat. Yes, they may have their dream house. They may love it and have no plans on selling. But if they just found out they got a $1.2 million job offer out of Texas, guess what? They're heading out the door and they got to start on Monday. They're calling you that and come and handle this. The keys under the mat. Okay. They're gone. Yesterday, they had no intentions of selling, but with that job offer, they absolutely do. We also know that those that have a home, oftentimes there's a family member or a family crisis, and they're selling in a nanu of a second. I'll tell you, when I was leaving California, I had the family home that had been in the family for 50 years. So all those schematics and those numbers of, people sell every so many years. Yeah, I blew those numbers away. Because again, it had been the home that my mother had bought when it was under construction 50 years ago. Yes, I was a little girl at the time. But all of a sudden we came out to Virginia to hang out with my stepson and the two grandkids. And when a 7-year-old turned to me and said, well, you can't leave, you haven't seen a deer yet. I'm just thinking things are going to change real quick. My husband was retired. My daughter, while we were out here, had found out that her master's thesis had been signed off and was ready to go to publish. I knew they would go in a heartbeat. I was the holdout. Because also, too, I was looking at this house going, I am never going to get it cleared out. But so just know that things can change quite quickly. And there's several reasons that you may not know about. So do not prejudge, because even if they have their dream house or their favorite house, there's another saying that I want you to grab. Birds of a feather flock together. And if you know them and you like them, I'm going to guess that they have other friends that are similar to them. So it's not so much of who you know, but it's who do they know that can open a door for you as well. Again, most agents totally miss that entire concept. So don't prejudge. Don't think, oh, they got the dream home, they're never going to sell. Da, da, da. Wrong. All right. And it's not who they know. It's not who you know. It's also who they know. Okay. So lay that foundation down. Next thing I want to talk to you real quick about is what format you are going to use. Now, here at Samson Properties, you got two platforms available to you. You have Bold Trails and you have Lofty. But if you look at me and go, Lynn, both of those just scare the crap out of me. And I am just not ready. I am not ready to do that. Guess what? Listen to me. I'm okay with that. Because this concept of flagging and tagging can be done, yes, in Bold Trails, yes, in Lofty. If you've used Top Producer before, if you're using All Clients, if you're using whatever platform you're using from way back when, stay with it if you want. If you say, I am just not that tech savvy, can I use my Outlook email contacts or my Outlook contacts? Guess what? Yes, you can. It will not do all the automated stuff, but you absolutely can still flag and tag the contacts and the people that you know that you want in your business database inside of your Gmail or your Outlook. Who knew I was going to say that one? Okay. Now, if you come to me and go, Lynn, I am not tech savvy. In fact, I don't even have a computer. I'm not sure where my cell phone is at. I still have the rotary dial on my desk. Okay. And I want to use a Rolodex or 3x5 index cards. I will show you how to do it. The same thing could be done in that platform if you absolutely had to. I know that all of you have at least you have a personal email, and I'm hoping you have a business email. Gang, if you have not gone through Jumpstart Session 1, one of the major tasks we have in there, we talk about, is having a business email address. Do not use your personal email for your business email address, because at some point I will hunt you down. Okay. That shows, again, it's about perception. Somebody is going to look at that and go, really? Really? So, case in point, if I need to go to a doctor, I don't know, let's say cardiologist or a brain surgeon, because I need my head examined, I do not want to have their email address as hotdoc@gmail.com. Okay. We laugh about that, but Kevin, you're going to die. Back in California, when we were at Career Compass, and we would run who was at our seminars. There'd be anywhere from 200 to 600. I would task my team to find the most inappropriate email address that some agent was using. And to this day, all I've got to do is call Jody or text Jody and say, dot, 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 dot. And the winner is, and we bust up laughing. Stripper pole mama should not be being used as your real estate email address. I'm just saying.
I told my wife not to use that.
I know. I know. I see a bunch of you laughing there, and you should be dying laughing. All right. So you need to set a professional stand from the beginning. In Jumpstart Session 1, especially the new version, we are now talking about the fact that there's new regulations that implemented in 2024 and that are now hitting hard in 2025 regarding using a free email address. Free email address is your Outlook, your Gmail, your Yahoo, your Hotmail, your MSN, or whatever it is, Yahoo, all of those. Those are all free email addresses. The problem that you're going to come across when the day comes that you are wanting to use a database, I don't care which one, to send out batch emails to your sphere, the programs, the databases, again, Bull Trails, Lofty, Top Producer, All Clients, MailChimp, any of those, they are no longer recognizing a free email address for you to send from. The reason for that is consumer protection and scams. We have all gotten that we have your order ready to ship. Please click on the link, and it's some bogus you know what. Okay. That is part of the reason. So to protect legitimate businesses being able to do direct marketing, you're no longer allowed to use a free email address. All right. So this is why in Jumpstart Session 1, I recommend that if you get a personal or a vanity or a business domain name from, I'm just going to use GoDaddy as the example. They're all buying each other out anyway. So you go with one that gets sold to somebody else. When you get your domain name, you can also get a business email address through them. You can also get a business email address through Google, from what I understand, or from Outlook. There is a small monthly charge that goes with it. I'm not happy about the small monthly charge, but they didn't ask me. So there you go. All right. Just know that part can become an issue around the bend. I know the program that I've used for 100 years, well, okay, maybe 20, all clients. I got notified last spring, summer that this new regulation was coming in. And I'm like, what? So I got a hold of the company, talked to them. They explained, it was like, okay, well, that makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense. And I had to go I could no longer use my L Hamilton at samsonproperties.net connected to that database. I needed to go purchase a business domain or a business email address, and that connected to that program. Then I had to call them to help me hook it up because it made no sense to me whatsoever. But just know that that's already on the radar. And so this is why, and one of the reasons why Donnie says too, he'd make JumpStart mandatory because we're going to help you get your business set up correctly from the beginning. So there you go. Now back to what program or what platform you're going to use for your building out your database. You can build it out in your Gmail, your Outlook right now. And then when you are ready, you can have it uploaded into Bold Trails or Lofty when you're ready to attack that next step. If technology and everything is just dropping you in, dead in your tracks, no. At least keep moving, but let's use a program for the time being that will allow you to make some progress. Okay, we good on that one? Give me some thumbs up. Okay, I'm seeing some heads nod and thumbs up going as well. Excellent. All right. So, deep breath back. What are the 4 categories that every agent should have in their database? First one, your SOI, your sphere of influence, the people that you know. The second category in a business database for real estate agents are your transaction partners. Your transaction partners are those, your lender, your cardinal title, local processor and attorney, home inspector, your 1 or 2 options of home warranties companies. Those are all transaction partners. Those are people that are involved in getting the transaction completed because, spoiler alert, I don't care how good you are. You are not doing the loan. You are not doing the transaction. You are not doing the home inspection yourself. You are not providing a home warranty yourself. You're not providing the title and the escrow services yourself. That is part of your transaction partners. Make sure, and it's one of the tasks in completing JumpStart Session 3, is get them built out, get them into your database, wherever you're keeping it, and having them tagged as transaction partners. There you go. Next one down. Next category in your database, number 3, is service providers. Your job is to help people. Oh, wait, JumpStart Session 1. Your job is to help people protect and maintain the value of their greatest asset, which is their home. That's why we give it to you right up the top in JumpStart Session 1. Because of that, isn't it nice to be referred to as the go-to source? You want to be the go-to source. That's going to require a little bit of work. And it's having a roster of service providers. Those are the people that will provide service to a homeowner. And in the JumpStart Session 3, I think I even have a roster. Yeah, I do. It's one of the building the list of service providers outside of the house and inside the house. It gives you some categories to start on. All right. You want to be the go-to source for anything real estate related for your SOI. I'm just saying. And again, in the full session of 3, I talked to you about how to build those out, how to connect, and how to leverage it. Now, yeah, it's a little bit of work, but I got a secret for you. None of you are working 40, 50 hours a week. So you got a few hours that you can invest in building that out. All right. Hear my heart, forgive my mouth, member. Y'all gave me permission. Here we go. All right. So service providers, again, become a valuable part. And what I always like to do was to try to build out a reciprocal referral relationship with some of my service providers. Okay. I explained that in full detail in the full course of JumpStart Session 3. The last category, category number 4 in your database should be your colleagues and other agents. Now, I remember years ago, I was teaching this class and an agent spoke up and she goes, well, why would I want other agents in my database? They're my competition. I said, really? So let me see if I got this right. If they're your competition, that means you're not going to work with other agents. You're going to list homes, maybe or maybe not sell them. You may have a buyer and may or may not find them a property, because if you look at them as your competition, you're missing the whole mark. And she goes, oh, well, I never thought about it that way. I said, well, I guess you should be coming to the class I'm doing this afternoon at the office at whatever time it was. We got done and I explained how to take, obviously, your colleagues from your own company and other agents from other brokerages to be part of your VIP networking team. And she came to me afterwards. She goes, oh my God, I've been around forever and no one has ever taught that concept. It makes perfect sense. I go, yeah, I know. I hate it when I'm right. But that's the benefit from it. Now, why is that important? Dang, you're going to come across other agents in the industry. You are going to know who are the good agents and who are the, well, maybe not so good agents. This is why Samson offers a recruiting bonus for our agents if they introduce and bring in another agent that decides to join Samson. Because you know who the good ones are. You know who the not so good ones are. There are lunch and learns all over our footprint. And if you've got another agent that was spectacular and dynamite to work with, and you want them and you think they'd be a good fit in a match within the Samson family, invite them to a lunch and learn. Hello. Also remember too, and again, I talk about this in full detail in the JumpStart Session 3 full course. Sometimes an agent from one area will not want to attend a lunch and learn in the immediate area. They're afraid of who may see them there. At which point you've got access to when the lunch and learns are. Let them know what, where, and when, and let them choose. They may want to go to one in, Arlington or Alexandria if they're down here in Fredericksburg, but whatever. It's okay. But again, where do you find out about those? Oh, wait. Donnie's Friday weekend update. He always talks about them there. They're probably in Cardinal Nest under Lunch and Learn. All of that information is at your fingertips. So there you go. All right. So that takes care of the 4 categories within your database: your SOI, transaction partners, service providers, and colleagues and other agents. Now, within the SOI, your sphere of influence, we teach you to break them down. And this goes back again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This goes back 100 years in marketing. I've been with companies prior to real estate, and they taught a similar concept. And then Brian Buffini has taught it forever. It is the best one out there. So why reinvent the wheel when we've got one that's already spot on perfect? So you take a look at those that are in your SOI, and here is how we recommend that you tag them. They're an A contact. A contact, letter A, is a past client that'll hopefully be a client again, or they have actually referred you to someone. Those are your A's. And you take real good care of your A's. The next group of people down, as you're looking down your roster, is a B. B, you know them. They know you. They know you're in real estate, and you're pretty darn sure that when the time comes, if you've done your job and stayed in touch with them on a regular basis, that they would use you when the life change happens that they need to buy or sell. Okay, those are your B's. Your C's are, yeah, I think I remember who they are. Do they know me? I'm not sure, but I can reconnect with them, or I've stayed in touch with them in recorder or whatever. Those are your C's. Your D is, who are they? Where did I meet them? If I don't remember them, I'm pretty darn sure they don't remember me. But somehow you got their information either from an open house, or if you were buying leads. No, you weren't. You were buying inquiries from some drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're not sure, but you got their information, or at least part of it. Those are your D's. I don't care how many you have in your database. What I care about is how many of them know you. Could they pick you out of a lineup? Could they tell me who you are and what you do? Do they know you're in real estate? That is a strong database. Having just a bunch of names and numbers, or names and emails, or names and addresses is hear my heart, member, nothing more than a mailing list. So we want to be very careful that we're not assuming because we have 600 that you've got a strong database. No, you have a mailing list. I want to know how many A's and B's are in there. There you go. Now, so you got your A, B, C, and D within your SOI. That sounds like an alphabet soup. All right. That is the best way and the best strategy ever to break that down. Once you've got it broken down, you need to be able to track every 6 months or so how many A's you have, how many B's, how many C's, and how many D's, how many transaction partners, how many service providers and agents, other agents, and then Samson agents are in your database. That should be tracked a minimum of every 6 months. Now, if I came to you and said, okay, we're now hitting June, what happened to the first part of this year, by the way? Does anybody know? I mean, it just, yeah. Last I knew, the daffodils were just starting to bloom. All right. But if I came to you and said, all right, your task is, there's 50 weeks in a year, 52 weeks in a year. I'm going to give you 2 off. That's 50. For midpoint, so that's 25. But I want you to add 50 to 100 new contacts into your database by the end of the year. Your head is probably going to explode. Okay. You're going to look at me and think, oh, dear God, I can't do this. However, if I say, okay, that's 2 a week, I would focus as a personal goal is to add 2 new contacts a week of a potential buyer or potential seller. I would have a goal to add 2 others to my database, whether it be a transaction partner, a service provider, or another agent. 2 a week. For the rest of the year, you will have a phenomenal, growing, and strong database. You are never done. So I listen to what I say. I realize I've got a decent database built out, but I have the ability in the format that I use, I'm able to add the agent's picture in there as well. So My personal challenge to myself is, and I got it done this morning, is I want to take and add X number of photos into my database. So when I'm scrolling through the names or whatever, I remember who they are. I'll remember faces and not always names. That's my weak spot. But by being able to have them in my database, that means I either go into Cardinal Nest, into the agent roster, pull their picture off of it, do a quick save, and then drop it into my database. You know, it takes me 30 seconds, but it's still the process of doing it. So yes, I'm still walking the walk. Okay. So challenge yourself, 2 a week, and then 2 either a service provider, transaction partner, or other agent in there as well. Because I'm going to venture to say a lot of you have a whole stack of other agents' business cards and service providers' business cards floating around. If you go to HQ to you, you're going to get other agents. If you go to HQ to you or any training, somebody who is a service provider is bringing us lunch or breakfast. I got to tell you, some of those vendors that we get to hear from are dang good. What they offer is okay. I was up in Tyson's a couple weeks ago. Oh, fun little note on the side. I've had 3 major things happen while I've been teaching. I was at one office when the power went out. We all had to turn our flashlights on to kept going, never missed a beat. The second one, now the problem with that was we couldn't get lunch because everything was shut down because everything was in the area was out. Second fun, I was in one of the offices. It was pouring down rain. The roof started leaking in the kitchen, which was right off of the training room. And within about 5 to 10 minutes, the ceiling collapsed in the kitchen. It bubbled. We're going, yep, that baby's coming down. And sure enough, now we moved the food first. Okay. We made sure the food got moved so we could have it later. Second thing. Third thing that happened last week, can't make this stuff up. I'm wrapping down my class, got about 5 minutes left to go, and the dang fire alarm goes off. We're on the 3rd floor of a 7-story building. I'm just letting you know that those fire alarms are loud. And the longer they're on, the louder they get, in case you didn't know that. So our ears are ringing. We went, yeah, we should probably get out of here. So we head to the out the office door to the either the stairs or the elevator. The only reason I got on the elevator was because the man that was standing right there was on the phone with the fire department. And as we walked out the door, I heard him say, I am the building manager. This is a false alarm. We do not need fire trucks dispatched. One of my work crews was sanding the walls, the drywall, and too much got airborne and triggered off the alarm. So because of that, I knew the building wasn't on fire, and we got in the elevator to go downstairs. Went outside. Our service provider was just getting ready to present. We just kept going outside. We just kept on talking. And then when they cleared us, we just kept on. We went right back in and picked up where we left off. So how did I get onto that one for you? But service providers, we have great service providers. So when they finally got to speak, and their water and, fire and damage restoration, one thing that I learned, totally off real estate subject, but it was good for me to know, is they also have a little side specialty. They can take and preserve and restore historic documents that may have been damaged with smoke or water or heat. Now, that may not be a thing to you, but someday it might be. And my daughter's a historian at a major historic site in Fredericksburg. I took this information right back to her and said, hey, did you know? She goes, oh, did not know. Okay, so now they've got a resource. So our service providers that come in, those should always be going into your database as well, with maybe a little note of whatever their specialties are as well. Gang, we're giving you guys some of the best stuff and resources on the planet. Don't blow it and don't blow it off. Okay. Turn that database into an absolute vending machine of chunks, stacks of $100 bills to come out of that slot and drop down. That is what that database can do. And I am blessed that I learned this early in my real estate career. And I took the time to get it started. In fact, I think I kicked on a movie one afternoon with something nice to drink and just was, halfway listening to it, but going through my database and labeling A, B, C, D, transaction partner, service provider, blah, 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 and all of a sudden I had it done. And then every time I added a new one in there, it became automatic. And I made sure that I took 15 minutes every week, either the beginning of the week or the end of the week, to add whoever I had come in contact with, whether it be another agent, whether it be a service provider, a new transaction partner, whomever, they were added to my database immediately. And I had a gold mine that I sat on. And when that sucker started dripping down business to me, yeah, I cried all the way to the bank. Agents often say, well, I want to work repeat and referral business. Okay, then you better have a database that will sing and dance. I got mine singing, dancing, and tap dancing. And yes, cried all the way to the bank. But I took the time to do it. It was one of the most powerful pieces of the business that paid off 100-fold. Okay, so there you have it. All right, what I'm going to encourage you to do is, as we wind this down right now, is this is just the 30,000 foot overview. Okay, I'm going to encourage you all to get back in and listen to your JumpStart sessions 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I'm going to correct myself. I do not want you just listening to it. I want you to block off time blocking, unencumbered time that you've got nothing else that's going to distract you. I don't care if it's 30-minute time blocks. If you got severe ADD, you can handle 30 minutes. You set a timer if you have to. You get yourself some water because you need to hydrate the brain, and you listen to a segment of JumpStart. You stop and do the task. You listen, you stop, you do. You listen, you stop, you do. I'll say that one more time just in case you didn't hear that part. You listen, you stop, and you do. That is how it builds out. And that is how this business of 500 to 1,000 pieces of puzzle pieces plays out. Now, I told you I'm in this as well. I know enough about my Outlook platform for calendar and my email, and I know enough to be dangerous. Holy smokes. I just recently came across a gentleman who's got a YouTube page, but also reels, and he gives 3 tips at a time of, did you know that Outlook can do this? Did you know that your Outlook calendar can do this? Did you know that within PowerPoint, these 3 things can be done? Here's a tip. Blowing my mind away. I've followed him now. I went in and did some of the tips on the my email inbox. Hoo-hoo-hoo. I am so impressed with myself, but I'm easily amused. But I've blocked off a few minutes every day to add one new technique, because I realize the stuff that he is sharing and walking you through methodically, I'm thinking, oh my God, that would be beneficial for me. So I'm working on it. we're never done. You think you get to the point that you got it all and it's all going to change. So just embrace the learning process of this business. Ask, what's the one thing I can learn? If you're not tech savvy, what's the one thing on Tech Tuesday, because it rhymes, can you block off a few minutes on Tuesday to learn something about tech? This is what keeps this business exciting. This is what keeps our life exciting and growing. The minute you stop growing or become stagnant, it's not good. So with that, my friends, I'm going to end it there. This is, again, the 30,000 foot view, not covering all of what is taught in JumpStart Session 3 about the database, but I think it's given you hopefully a new look at it, a new view of it, and will excite you to go make that little puppy sing dance and tap dance if you need it to. All right. Turn it into the vending machine, not the slot machine. Let it be the vending machine. Challenge yourself. 2 new contacts added to your database, your SOI, every week. And then 2 new contacts into either your transaction partners or your service providers. And if you got a stack of business cards from various functions and events you've gone to, pull 2, sit in front of your desk, and those are your 2 for the week. Okay. You will be amazed and surprised once you get going on this, how quickly you will be able to clean up your database. I don't care what platform it's in, and turn it into that vending machine for yourself. Because as we move forward into some of the other training techniques of your JumpStart Session 4, identifying and taking a look at the 24 options of your marketing pillars, some of those flip back to the database. If you don't have the database in order, you cannot move forward to the next piece of the puzzle. Because you're looking at going, so where's this supposed to go? Well, because you don't have the database together. So when I say pull your A's, you're going, I don't got that. Well, you need that. All right. All right. Let me bop over to the chat box real quick. Are any questions or comments? Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, I want it to, your energy is contagious. You are welcome. Thank you. I want this to be the vending machine for you. I want your database to be just a consistent, priming that well. There's a ton of money sitting in there, and most of you are letting it fall through the cracks. So with that, my friends, you want the Reese's peanut butter cups?
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Jessica, I am a dual career agent, and I don't always have availability to do these certain trainings that you do at 1 and 2:30 on Thursday. Is there a way for me to see the recordings?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Yes, as a matter of fact, on my website, which is lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net. That's my website. That is my Bull Trails platform.
Okay.
I've customized it. I've added a tab that says Agent Resource Center. That's for all of you. On the Agent Resource Center tab, it'll drop down. One has handouts and bonus stuff. One has listen and learn of the common mistakes agents make. That's a fun one to go through and listen to. They're 3 to 5 minutes a piece. Pick one a day, listen to them. The next one down is listen and learn. Oh, no, how-to instructions. The next drop down, it comes right from it, is listen and learn. That listen and learn tab is where all of these from Thursday get dropped.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you are welcome. And the listen and learn page is going through its mini makeover as well. I will always post the newest recordings up there. And then there's a library of all the previous recordings as well for you.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You are welcome. Glad you were here with us today. Okay, I see you've got your hand up. Anastasia, what you got, my friend?
Yes, I just switched from Remax to Samsung, and
Welcome.
I had my database in Excel, and I should, yeah, I should do something better.
It's a start in the right
can't decide
direction.
between Bold, Trails, and Lofty.
Yeah. I would use, if you're going to go straight into one of the two platforms, I would go Bold Trails, because Bold Trails does allow you to do more with it. Okay.
Mhm.
Will Kilker, I'm going to stick it in the chat box real quick. Will Kilker, Kilker, his email address is WKILKER at SamsonProperties.net. That is Will's email address. You can contact him and say, okay, I've got my database in Excel. I need help making sure that it's in the right format to get loaded up into Bold Trails. And then he can also help you with Bold Trails. He does classes and one-on-ones, but when it comes to uploading the stuff into Bold Trails, it has to be very precise in columns of information so that it'll merge with the Bold Trails fields. But Will can help you with that.
Thank you. And one more question about email, because I had my email through Remax, and now, yeah, it's a huge mess now.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So rule number one, I know this is kind of after the fact. People, and I see Kevin, I see the look on his face. Kevin and I go way back, by the way.
Yeah, because I've been with Remax for 10 years, and I thought I would never switch, and somehow I did.
It did, which happens. Again, I've seen companies go out, go under, agents shift, agents change, but welcome to Samson. You're going to love it here. This is why I have always, always, always promoted. You have your own business email address and your own domain name. Because a lot of these other companies and your previous company is not alone in doing this. I could give you a list of other brokerages that would do it. Oh, we're going to give you your own database. We're going to give you your email address, rather. We're going to give you your website, and especially on the database. But if something happened that you needed or wanted to leave, they owned it, not you. And unless you were smart enough to download it before you left, the minute you notify them that you're leaving, they shut you off. That's every brokerage across the board. So I've always taught agents from the beginning is, even though the company will provide it, always have your own. Because that way, again, it's yours. People are going to do business with you because of you, not because of what what brokerage you're with. So we will get you set correctly. If you want to, I'm going to stick it in the chat box real quick for you, my email address. Email me, and I will make sure we got you, I give you some guidance. So my email address is lhamilton@samsonproperties.net. Okay, lhamilton@samsonproperties.net is my email. And then, of course, my website is just like basically the one you have, LynnHamilton.samsonproperties.net is the email address, or the website address. Okay, but seriously, you reach out to me. I'll make sure we get you in the right direction, since you're new here with us, and we got you. Well, we want to get you started correctly. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. You guys have been awesome. You have been wonderful. Remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. Run what you're being given. All right, my friends. I will see you back in the next session of Master Your Marketing, coming up in about 30 minutes. I'll see y'all soon.
See you soon.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Thank you, Lynn. Be good.
You're welcome. Thank you.